Should I go to music production school and or college? Should I go? Or what if I already did? What should I do? So it's a slippery slope. I think there's probably several reasons for and against. I kind of took some notes and sort of wanted to touch on these things. Let's start with the positives, or why you should go. We'll get to, if you already went, what would happen. I think that it'll probably get cleared up by the pros and cons. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. You can do what you want. Obviously get other people's opinions. Obviously everyone's situation is different. A pro, structure. If you need structure, if you need to be regimented, you need to be guided, you need some guidance from a school environment, you have to make the structure. You have to hold yourself accountable for time and schedule and marketing and how you reach out to people, networking, things like that. So while you could gain something from the environment of school, and I'll call it school for the sake of conversation, then there's a pro for you. The con is if you need that, it might be pause for concern. Some other good things about it. You're going to have access to gear and an environment that you might not necessarily be able to find on your own. So for instance, yes, you can buy some gear and put together a little music studio for yourself, or even a big one. But if you're going into other things like television and radio and some broadcast environments, that a school might actually be able to give you some access and some knowledge as to how that world works. Even in the case of like a professional recording studio, which is a very a weird area now because everyone has a studio, everyone has a video production studio, everyone has a phone or a laptop or an iPad or whatever that they can go crazy on with stuff that's probably 50 times more powerful than the stuff I started out on. So you have access to gear, to an environment, TV studios, radio studios, because a lot of the campuses have their own versions of that, and you can kind of get a feel for how that works, the schedule, how a TV thing gets put together, what production teams are like. And then also at the school, you can network, you can meet new people, meet other people that are at your skill level or at your knowledge level or within your age bracket, so that these people could be who you wind up working with down the line. And from what I've seen from my experience with people who have gone to these schools is that they tend to not network enough with who they're with, thinking that, why should I connect to someone that's sitting right next to me learning what I am? I'm ready to go out in the world and take over. You're also going to find experienced teachers at a lot of these places. That's obviously what you're paying for. The curriculum, the teachers, the access to the gear and or studio environment, and those are things that you should be considering. And you should be considering what the experience level is of the teachers. Are they real world instructors? Are they actually tuned into what's going on right now, or are they behind the times? They have a tendency to be behind. And that goes back 30 years when I had assistants coming through different colleges and different audio engineering programs and things of that nature who were learning stuff that didn't have anything to do with what was going on in the real world. And things have clearly advanced much farther than they were then. I mean, it's no secret that if you're not up to date on technology, you're going to be way behind. So we're getting into some of the cons. What are your expectations? Are you expecting to come out of a program and take over the world? Good luck with that. I've almost never seen that happen. And this is going back in the days when there was a large recording studio industry where they were hiring interns from these schools at a rapid pace, and there were opportunities on a daily basis to get into studios and were in on projects. I'm not familiar with a lot of what goes on in television and radio, just speaking from the recording industry, the music recording industry. So take it as you will. That are your expectations. Another con would be the sense of entitlement that, like, hey, I have a degree. Like, why can't I have a certificate saying I'm a recording engineer, or I'm certified in digit design or Pro Tools or anything of that nature? It means, I don't want to say it means nothing, but it's pretty close in the real world. Obviously, the cost, the time that you allocate to it. If you're going to go into a program for anywhere from a year to 2 to 4, that's a lot of time to be not in the field. If you're going to go with the expectation of like, oh, I'm just going to go to school and then I'm going to come out blazing and connect. That's a lot of time. That's also time that you're not networking. Just so much as when you're in school, you could be networking. When you're in school, you're not networking because you have dedicated so much time to school that you're not out there meeting new musicians, artists, other producers, other engineers, and so on. Another problem would be the outdated nature of a lot of these programs, in that you're learning things that are just nowhere near up to date, and where you're going to want to be, or where you could be if you just applied yourself on your own. That takes a special kind of dedication, learning the stuff on your own, but that's part of, like, winning or losing. So there's my quick little rundown on that. I think I'm going to come back to this occasionally because I have a feeling that there'll be other things that I think of that I could sort of relate. So I'm not coming across, I hope I'm not coming across as super pro or super con for the academia side of things. I'm just putting it out there what there is to think about.